Before we begin, to assure that everyone enjoys this meaningful event, would you please take a moment to turn off or silence all cell phones and other electronic devices that may detract from the enjoyment of all. Thank you. Please remain standing as Lillian Murphy leads us in the singing of America the Beautiful. The words to the song can be found on the last page of your program.
Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesties above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood, from sea to shining sea.
Please be seated. Good morning, Jane Addams class of 2015. And good morning, everyone, and welcome to the 2015 commencement of the Jane Addams College of Social Work, University of Illinois at Chicago. Now, today is a day of celebration, and we have come to honor, acknowledge, and recognize our graduates. So, given that, we need not wait until the end of the program to do so. So let's give our graduates a round of applause. And graduates, I am confident that you did not do this alone, that you had a lot of support that's brought you to this place this day. So I want you to stand. I hope I'm not going to have to take back any degrees here. Look around if you can find them. Find the people who have supported you and give them a big round of applause. You may be seated. Now, if by chance there's some people who really weren't that supportive or may have questioned, you mean you're graduating? You can take a selfie and send that to them. But I ask that you wait and send it when this ceremony is over. Now let's move on to our formal program. In many ways it will be formal, but at the same time, as I said, this is a time of celebration, so we intend to enjoy this celebration as well. Yeah, you can applaud. I now want to introduce the members of the platform party. When I call each person's name, I want that individual to rise. I ask that you hold your applause until I have introduced everyone. Chancellor Emeritus, Provost Gislason, Associate Dean Mitchell, our keynote speaker, Mark Matani, Dean of the Graduate College, Karen Cawley, Associate Chancellor for Alumni Relations, Arlene Norsom, and Associate Dean, Faith Bonecutter. Now applaud. Now, while everyone in this room or auditorium today is very special, we do have some special guests, and they are seated to my left in section 103. They are Jane Addams alumni. Please stand. And I noticed that there are some alumni who are not in section 103. We certainly recognize them as well. Moving on with the program, it is certainly a pleasure and an honor for me to introduce our Chancellor, who is going to extend greetings and make a few remarks. Our Chancellor, Michael Emeritus, assumed the role as the 9th Chancellor of the University of Illinois at Chicago on March 16th of this year. Since that time, he has visited departments throughout the university, met with students, faculty, and staff, shared his vision, and enlisted all of us to help him propel our campus to the forefront of urban-serving research universities. Before joining UIC, he served as Executive Vice President for Academic Affairs and Provost at the University of South Carolina in Columbia. He was promoted through the academic ranks, became department chair in 2002, Dean of Engineering in 2006, and Provost in 2009. His research has resulted in more than 100 publications and over $18 million in external funding. Chancellor Emeritus has been recognized with a number of research and teaching awards and was elected a Fellow of the American Association for the Advancement of Science in 2012. He received his PhD in chemical engineering from the University of Wisconsin-Madison before moving to South Carolina in 1994. Please welcome our Chancellor, Michael Emeritus.
Thank you, Dean Hairston, and congratulations to you and to the faculty of the college for an excellent academic year. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. As you heard, I'm the new guy around here, and I actually still believe what I'm told. So I have been told that graduations at the University of Illinois at Chicago are very special. The gathering of friends, family members, students is really energetic. They don't only clap, they scream, they shout, they demonstrate their intense emotions in a unique way that I haven't seen around the country. And I have to tell you, what I witnessed was good, but not unique. So let me give you one more chance to join me in congratulating the 2015 graduating class from the Jane Addams College of Social Work. I think this was better, and it sets a new standards for other colleges to follow. It is an honor for me to be here today and share this incredible day with you, and I'm delighted to see all the family members and friends who have joined you, the graduates today, to share your accomplishment, and the faculty members that they are here to celebrate with you, and some of them actually are here to make sure that you are graduating. The Jane Addams College of Social Work is named after the Illinois-born pioneer of American social work who founded the internationally famous settlement house known as the Hull House, located on our campus. Yeah, that's your namesake for the college. And the house became one of the leading centers in the development of the profession of social work. Your college has inherited and has safeguarded a very proud legacy of a progressive social movement that began over a century ago. Today, your college has adapted those early practices to the needs of the 21st century urban reality, and it is a premier institution for graduate study and a recognized leader in social work research, education, and service. But today, the focus is not on the college. Today, the focus is on you, on the graduates. This is your day to celebrate. And make sure, by the way, that all of these folks, that they were happy and they were clapping and shouting, take you to one of the most expensive places in town tonight for dinner. I want you to remember how many times since you started your studies and you committed yourselves to a long and difficult journey, remember how many times you imagined this day. Remember the thrill of being accepted to one of the best universities, one of the best colleges of social work in the country. Remember the long nights and the endless cups of coffee. Remember the hours that some of you spent on the bus or on the L every day to come and go back. Remember the satisfaction of what seemed like an overwhelming research paper, your field placement, or this impossible exam. What were they thinking when they put it together? Well, this is your special day. The day is here. Whatever you imagine, this is what you're realizing today, and you have earned the right to celebrate. Today is also my opportunity to offer some parting words from your alma mater. Now, when we say parting, we don't really mean it, since I assure you, you will hear from us, and we hope that we will hear from you as well, because you see, this is not the end of your journey. It is just a short stop, very important, very joyful, but still a very short stop in the longer journey of life that continues at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. Well, if you go late to the restaurant, let's make it 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. The rest of the journey is yours to define. You have many choices to make. They're wide, and they're only limited by your imagination. I hope and I wish you that your choices bring you to many new and exciting stops along your journey and fulfill your expectations and your ambitions. I know, I'm confident, that the education that you have received here will help you navigate the rough waters that inevitably you will encounter in some parts of your journey. And I'm confident also that you will find the time and passion to also look after others who are less fortunate than you are in their own journeys and help them along the way. After all, this is the legacy and tradition of your university and your college, and I know that you will honor this tradition with your own unique contributions. Today, you're wiser and more educated than when you began your course of study, even if some people in the audience don't recognize this yet. Take a moment to think about the distance you have come, to look back at yourself on the day you began, and see how different you are today, how far you have come on the road to a better and stronger you. Take this moment and breathe it in and enjoy it. On behalf of the University of Illinois at Chicago, I'm here to extend you the promise that we will always be your university. The Jane Addams College of Social Work will always be your college. I'm sure if you do well financially, the fundraisers of the college will find you, no matter where you are. But more importantly, this university and this college will always be here for you. Like you, we will continue to grow in strength and reputation, and that's important for you because it will enhance the value of your degree. We will make you proud, just as your achievements have made us proud, and just as your association with the University of Illinois at Chicago has made this a better place. After all, the greatness of a university is nothing but the sum of its people, and the alumni is a big part of the equation, and you are now part of this equation. For someone in my line of work, there are few things greater than seeing all of you graduate, and I wish I could shake every single graduate's hand to offer my congratulations. Unfortunately, this is not how our commencement schedule works here, so I have to apologize because Provost Giselson will have the opportunity to do this, as I will have to leave to go to the next graduation, one of 13 that I'm going to attend in the next couple of days. I'll make sure that next year we schedule the things right. To the parents, families, and friends, thank you for making this occasion so important by being here today, and thank you for all of your support for our students and for the university in the last few years. To our graduates, go forward and make your way with the knowledge, skills, and growth that the Jane Addams College of Social Work has given you to serve, to lead, to teach, to guide, to care for, and in your own way, to give back to the world. And please remember to share your future accomplishments with us. Please remember to return, to visit, to mentor the next generation of students who will follow in your footsteps. And please go out and tell the world about what you have accomplished and about your alma mater. You are, and you will always be, our greatest ambassadors. And thank you for making the University of Illinois at Chicago and the Jane Addams College of Social Work a place where success lives and people thrive. Congratulations to each and every one of you, and Godspeed.
It is now my pleasure to introduce the faculty of Jane Addams College of Social Work. Faculty, as I call your name, please stand and remain standing until all have been introduced. And audience, please hold your applause until all the faculty members have been introduced. Cassandra McKay Jackson, Julie Fisher, Annette Johnson, Cassandra Hudson, Scott Keena, Jim Gleason, James Swartz, Patricia O'Brien, Josh Mursky, Chang Ming Shea, Barbara Coates, Henrika McCoy, Amy Watson, Sonia Leathers, Edward Potts, Vaughn Nebbit, Jennifer Wheeler-Brooks, Gina Gaston, and Otima Doyle. Thank you.
Another round of applause for our esteemed faculty. And I do want you to know that I did want monitors who are in distinct places, and they have the names of all of those who did not follow Associate Dean Boncutter's instructions. Seriously. It is now a special pleasure for me to introduce our commencement speaker, Dr. Mark Natani. Dr. Natani is an outstanding social worker, a role model and mentor, and a member of the Jane Addams College of Social Work faculty. He joined the college in 1999 as associate professor and served as director of the doctoral program until 2006. During his tenure at the college, he has served on over 40 dissertation committees. Dr. Matani's social work practice experience is extensive, inclusive of residential treatment, family counseling, developmental disabilities, mental health, and substance abuse. He has authored or co-edited 11 books, as well as over 90 other publications. As an active leader, Dr. Matani serves as International Co-Chair a behaviorist for social responsibility, and was a founding board member of the Society for Social Work and Research. His recent scholarship has focused on youth violence prevention and nonviolent social action for peace and justice. After 44 years of work in this field, Dr. Matani is retiring this month and will be missed dearly by all. We are honored to have Dr. Matani deliver this year's commencement address. Please join me in welcoming him.
Thank you. It is traditional to begin by addressing the chancellor if here, the provost, the deans in order, and so forth. But of course, I want to encourage you to always question hierarchies. So I'm going to try to talk with deepest respect for everyone here. But especially, I'm privileged to speak to those who are seated in front of us all. Today you graduate with degrees in social work. Not just degrees, but degrees in social work. Certainly a time for celebration, a time for appreciation for all those who have helped you, who of course are in the stands. And it's really exciting to see the energy that I know you have go out into the world, into a troubled world. This is also my last opportunity to explore with you what our social work degrees really mean. Especially over the last 2 decades, broad agreement has emerged in the profession that the organizing value for social work is or should be social justice, a value explicitly emphasized in the mission of the college. But social work genuinely rooted in that value has been difficult to realize, to make real. So I want to talk to you about the challenges we face and some of what I've learned, including honestly from some of today's graduates over the last 44 years. Václav Havel, Czech dissident during the communist era, who ultimately became president of a liberated Czech Republic, stressed the terrible effects of living in the lie. Living in the lie. By this, he meant living within and cooperating with systems of oppression as if all is well. For Havel, living within the lie, individuals confirm the system, fulfill the system, make the system, are the system. As some of you, probably many of you, have learned with real concern, many of our social and human service systems are deeply embedded in and sometimes participate in oppressive realities. Battered women are often further disempowered within our service and justice systems. Damaged and violated children continue to wander through worlds that fail to provide the care that is our collective responsibility. Persons who are homeless, despite the clear mandate of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, are often denied even a place to exist, a place to be. Children growing up on the blocks, as they say, have little chance of finding the nurturing communities to which every child has a right. Our political and economic systems and most social institutions, including many service agencies, are at least complicit with and often contribute to existing realities, as I will discuss further. Accepting those realities, then, Accepting them without resistance is living in the lie. Social work, and each of us, I believe, is rather called to live in truth. Again, Havel's words. For Havel, living in truth meant directly doing in your immediate surroundings what you think needs doing, saying what you think is true and needs saying, acting the way you think people should act. Doing this is difficult, certainly, especially since living in truth professionally requires living in truth personally. Given the shared responsibility for others' welfare that most social workers carry, the charge to live in truth is ours, ready or not. As a result, we will nearly always be working in tension with larger oppressive structural realities that have direct impacts on our practice, whether clinical, community, or policy. And usually working in tension without getting fired. Usually. We all, and I mean everyone present, not just the graduates, carry responsibility to work for a just and caring society, a vision of a world that is profoundly different than what exists. The more we learn as social workers, however, and the more experience, the deeper our responsibility. A real commitment to social justice obligates us to stand in resistance to oppression, to stand in resistance to structural violence that causes premature death, often what Dr. Paul Farmer, who I'll mention briefly later, calls stupid deaths, deaths that could easily have been prevented. Needless suffering and community destruction, especially among the most vulnerable and marginalized among us, are also common outcomes of structural oppression. We see structural violence in escalating financial disparities locally and globally. People die. People and communities suffer. We see structural violence in social and economic arrangements that protect and benefit the privileged by exploiting the poor, locally and globally. Fight for 15, by the way. We see structural violence in climate change, which is already resulting in accelerated death rates among the most disadvantaged globally. We see structural oppression in the street and police violence that is currently receiving so much attention, violence that is largely the result of exploitation and marginalization, structural racism. And living in truth requires us to say that because Black lives matter, white silence is violence. And I apologize to the people doing the closed captioning. Things have changed since I had to turn this in 3 weeks ago, so the next paragraph will be slightly varied. At times like the present in Illinois, we are called to speak truth to power as deep state funding cuts to essential health and mental health services, education, critical services to youth who are homeless, those aging out of foster care, violence prevention efforts, efforts to address health disparities are all on the table for the state budget. Because such changes will produce, if they happen, profound suffering and early death, they constitute structural violence. Every citizen has a duty to respond, but because we know the realities so well, we as social workers, whether clinical, community, policy, carry a special obligation to speak and live the truth here, to resist such violence. And I hope everyone here is willing to take those kinds of steps. It's not just the social workers. Resistance is only part of our work, but that part is an inescapable moral and ethical responsibility. This then is a time for living in truth in Illinois. Paul Farmer is a physician of global reputation who has long worked in Haiti, Peru, Rwanda, Russian prisons, and other areas of extreme disadvantage, including in the Ebola crisis. Farmer's work emphasizes what he calls pathologies of power that create structural oppression and marginalization while supporting the privilege of the few. Farmer calls on all service professionals, including us, to demonstrate a preferential option for the poor, to opt to work with and for the most disadvantaged while challenging those who benefit from their exploitation. Farmer draws from the work of Latin American liberation theologians who have also profoundly affected the work of Pope Francis, a strong ally for justice in many areas, although he has a ways to go in terms of queer rights, for example. But challenging structural violence also requires of us deep humility and self-examination. Many of us here benefit from our own privilege that, unacknowledged, unaddressed, leaves us also personally explicit with structural injustice. This calls for more living in truth in our own lives. Paul Farmer argues that professionals carry responsibility to both challenge oppressive structures, but also to work toward a transformative vision of a just society, a caring society. This is the work we are called to do. Jane Addams was called to live this kind of work, and did. And many here have experienced a similar call. For example, without compensation, one of our doctoral students has for years been organizing around wage theft and related issues targeting undocumented workers. We have faculty and doctoral students doing research and service with young people involved in street violence, with police responses to mental health crises and intimate partner violence, with the struggles imposed by neocolonialism in Africa, and so much more. My own work in strategic nonviolent resistance has perhaps made a small contribution. Wrong page. Many here have supported and advocated for persons and families who are homeless and for those who are victimized within our social and economic systems. All of this work puts us in constructive tension with existing structural arrangements, again. In every case, requiring both resistance to injustice and creative steps toward social transformation. And this is where the excitement lies for us. Consistent with my discussion so far, many of our Canadian colleagues have recently pursued what they call structural social work practice that defines our central mission as social workers as twofold: to provide social care for the casualties of oppression, and to transform the conditions and social structures that cause these negative effects. I recommend their work to you. Is this the work that we will do going forward? And when I say we, I mean you and I. I'm taking retirement, but I'm still a social worker. I still have work to do. Thank you. An essential complement to structural practice, one that emerges from the work of Farmer and Gustavo Gutierrez, a Peruvian liberation theologian, is the principle of accompaniment. This principle calls us to accompany the casualties of injustice, people and communities, through their struggle, to walk with them on their journeys to healing for as long as it takes. The core of accompaniment is a shift in how we understand our relationships with those we serve. Accompaniment transforms our relationships away from excessive professional and personal distancing and toward confirming the humanity of those we serve in genuine I-thou relationships. Again, this will often put us in tension with institutional systems. For example, in cases where practice settings informally redirect difficult clients away from services, or discourage post-service contacts with young people who have struggled with life on the streets and the challenges that status carries. Contacts that research conducted by one of today's doctoral graduates here indicates can be transformative. But as I've now suggested several times, living in truth, structural practice, accompaniment inevitably put us in continuing tension with oppressive societal, institutional, and organizational realities, including in many cases the organizations and systems within which we work. Does this sound like a prescription for burnout? Or could living in such constructive tension be healing for us? I've been living social work. It's a way to think about it, living social work for a long time now. My observation, and the structural folks agree, is that social workers who live in the lie, who become voiceless auxiliaries of oppressive systems, are thereby damaged and at very high risk for burnout, regardless of how much self-care they engage in. On the other hand, continuous work supporting social transformation, experiencing the tensions as motivating, can energize hope for a better reality. Building and sustaining our own cultures of resistance and constructive transformation can catalyze power, collective power, and build resilience among us, but we need to do it together. Social, physical, and environmental ugliness contributes to depression, to distancing, and yes, to burnout. Faced with the realities we often see, social workers can lose themselves in such ugliness. I have seen this happen. Humans need justice. They also need beauty. Social workers and the people and communities we accompany need beauty to maintain hope, need beauty to maintain energy, beauty in relationships, beauty in intimate environments, beauty in media, beauty in communities. This is another dimension of social transformation to which we have often not paid much attention, but Jane Addams and her Hull House colleagues did. Integral partnerships with the arts, attention to visual and sound pollution, constructing beauty in social service agencies, beauty in connections to each other and the natural world, all are areas we tend to overlook. But there is power here, power for resistance and leverage, and power to leverage human resilience in the face of struggle. And artists should be among our closest allies because they carry gifts for communicating realities and bringing beauty to them. I believe that personally and collectively, living in truth and beauty has the potential to continuously re-energize social work and to support a new progressive movement that is so sorely needed at this time. Thank you. Judith Lee, an important contributor to empowerment social work, wrote a paper exploring the state of social work. Her paper, calling social work back to its core mission, was entitled, "Jane Addams, Won't You Please Come Home?" Perhaps we, the Jane Addams community, with which every one of you here today is now forever connected, can answer that call. Walk in beauty, live in truth, and to quote the Lone Ranger, my work here is done.
Thank you, Dr. Matani, for just a thought-provoking, inspirational message and a call to action and for action for all of us, meaning not only the graduates, but all of us here today. So thank you once again. It is my pleasure to introduce the following program administrators who will present their degree candidates. Now, on this one, I really do need you to follow the directions. The PhD and MSW candidates will please rise after the administrators have stipulated their degrees. Karen Colley, sorry, maybe I should follow the directions. Karen Colley, Dean of the Graduate College, will present the candidates for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy.
Provost Gisselson, upon the recommendation of the faculty and by the vote of the Senate, I have the honor to present these candidates for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. Candidates, please rise.
Upon these recommendations, and by the authority of the Board of Trustees, I confer upon each of you the Doctor of Philosophy degree for which you have been presented and admit you to all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities of that degree. And the first responsibility of that degree is to move your tassel from the right to the left side. Congratulations.
Will the new recipients of Doctor of Philosophy please come upon the platform to be hooded and be recognized? Our first graduate is Gisela R. Grumbach. The title of her dissertation is Formerly Incarcerated African American Women, Reclaiming Parenting and Reforming Maternal Identities. Our second graduate is Judith Melanie Hines. The title of her dissertation is Internalized Heterosexism, Outness, Relationship Satisfaction, and Violence in Lesbian Relationships. Our next graduate is Casey S. Holzschneider. The title of her dissertation her dissertation is The Impact of Transitional Living Programs, Perspectives of Homeless Youths. Our final PhD graduate is Stephanie Jean Schmitz-Beckler. The title of her dissertation is Effective Perceived Stigma on Community-Based Mental Health Service Use Among Jail Detainees. Let's give one more round of applause to all of our PhD graduates.
This time I'm making sure I'm following the guidelines. Another round of applause. Associate Dean Bonecutter will present the candidates for the Master of Social Work degree.
Provost Gisselson, Upon the recommendation of the faculty and by vote of the Senate, I have the honor to present these candidates for the Master of Social Work degree. Will the candidates for the MSW degree please rise?
Upon these recommendations, and by the authority of the Board of Trustees, I confer upon each of you the Master of Social Work degree for which you've been presented and admit you to all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities of that degree. And the first responsibility of receiving that degree is to move your tassel from the right side to the left side. Congratulations.
Will the new recipients of the Master of Social Work degree come upon the platform to be recognized?
Beth Shuck. Emma Chandler. Trisha Anderson. Erica Perez Jackson. Muntaha Al-Hindi. Anais Zayas. Rosalinda Morales. Amber Edge. Jenna Louise McPhillips. Nancy Okoobo Kadiri. Jacqueline Starr. Isabel Bolanos. Alejandra Aguilar. Lynette De Dios. Megan Marsh. Vanessa Valdez. Elena Gaicio. Jessica Ronchelle Wilkie. Natalie Cicero Durek. Bridget Gibson Kruger. Erica Roa. Robin Pachenik. Sarah Solheim. Lena Corey Izzo. Cassandra Cortez. Andrea Michelle Dunbar. Ashley Olds. Karen Riley. And Jeanette Young. Rishikesh T. Shetty. Casey K. Robinson. Christian Jameson. Thomas Lloyd Madison. Natalie Ho. Danielle Paoli. Sarah Smulik. Keely Justine Pat. Kelly Burton. Mackenzie Brown. Stephen Alexander Scheuer. Elizabeth Richter. Yi Ping Lin. Lauren Elizabeth Bassler. Jessica Gasper. Dorota Ivona Duda. Allison Wood. Kira Nikolai Wilson. Jennifer Felt. Anastasia Barron. Amanda Weinstein. Allison M. Kirkab. Denise Gibson. Jennifer Nicole Simmons. Evelyn Medina. Liliana Gomez. Megan N. Merriman. Kathleen Grace Westwood. Rebecca Urban. Elizabeth Sauer. Irene O. Liza Librera. Stephanie Seisel. Lisa Elizabeth Macklin. Yong Sin Sun. Georgine Alfano. Candace K. Stevens. Stephanie Small. Isamar Mendoza. Valerie Reek. Brittany A. Fisher. Angelica Gomez. Emily Claire Pepalio. Katie Elizabeth Fitzgerald. Rita Acha. David Hypes. Bridget McLaughlin. Leslie Gaunt. Shelby Montague. Kyle King. Mary Erin Mueller. Stephanie Marie Villarreal. Catherine Jane Kasserman. Rosemary Boyer Smid. Chelsea Edith Shesby Crivello. Laura Ng. Andrew Westcott Sealander. Chelsea Elizabeth Corbett. Brennan Lee Thompson. Isabella Mancini. Benjamin Kep Waite. Lila Handler. Davida Gillespie. Ashley Mansker. Melissa Bino. Mashandra Norwood. Emily Hatcliffe. Elizabeth Rakic. Omar Guzman. Shajan Jos. Rebecca Lee Ballin. Cynthia Giselle Zepeda. Monica Silva. Isamar Aguirre. Jennifer Drew. Anna P. Nanaselli. Sebastino Aviles. Catherine O'Keefe. Paige Noble. Britta Rosenquist. Julissa Flores Salazar. Jasmine Lopez Solis. Ada Perez. Nadia Avila. Maggie Mui. Megan Michelle Libreros. Dominique D. Burnett. Tia Shantae Nix. Jessica Dulling. Christine Marie Leek. Charles Arthur Egner II. Gabriela Lagunas. Angelica Guzman. Nicole Sarah Farah. Abigail Kathleen Peterson. Emily Jasinski. Rachel Pachenik. Marissa Petrosky. Kelly Bloom. Catherine Summerfield. Monica Ortiz Almanza. Julia Werderich. Sean David Elliott. Kate Stirk. Navathan Sethupathi. Carlos Arizon. Lauren Marie Cyrus. Lakeisha Hoffman. Jessica Villarreal McMahon. Kimberly Ann Skirkowitz. Brittany Bars. Ellen Sagendorf. Mariah Berry. Jacqueline Keim. Margaret Ewald. Jonki Savak. Zachary Miller. Gina Kim. Michelle Nearday. Brittany Kumerer. Ryan Mueller. Michelle Clayton. Michelle Kirch. Miranda Fensel. Alexa Marie Sipiora. Kristen Pekarik. Andrea Espinosa. Megan Elizabeth Kinney. Sarah Egan. Kelly Alexis Barkin. Megan Rollbolt. Alicia Fisher. Caitlin Schragi. Jessica Enright. Andrew David Castillo. Mike Kalia. Julie Brianna Narowski. Erica Graham. Linnell Kohlmeyer. Rebecca Evelyn Kinsella. Lily Anna Pfeiffer. Lauren Elizabeth Berger. Kayleen Demo. Courtney Schreiner. Tina Mavelankar. Amarilis Diaz. Shannon Han. Sally Denise Watts. Jennifer Burgess. Nancy Pater. Dana Marie O'Neill. Jamaica Walton. Crystal Rawson. Amy Genta Crawford. Sarah Dyer. Suzanne Monique Lemaire Lozier. Aria Choi. Elizabeth Bueller. Francesca Dioso. Katie Foreman. Amy Dondonville. Rebecca Horwitz. Asher Odisho Jaju. Anindita Ghosh. Kirsten Mazzoni. Shola De Silva. Jennifer Delory Byrne. Liam T. Brown. David John Hamstra. Samuel Louis Stefan. Kurt Helmbacher. J.E. Swartz. Emily Marie Passioni. Danielle Bastian.
Some of you were so excited, and I could tell. Others, you were excited too, but you tried to be real cool, But I know everybody's very happy. So another round of applause for I am now proud to introduce Arlene Norsom, our Associate Chancellor for Alumni Relations for UIC and Vice President of the University of Illinois Alumni Association.
Thank you. Thank you, Dean Hairston. Congratulations. Today, you join the 200,000 graduates of this campus who are part of the largest living alumni body in the United States. You represent all that is good about the university, your future careers, and the values by which you live will reflect upon the education you received at UIC, and much of what the public will read and hear and think and believe about our alma mater will be based on your work and your good deeds. We have all just heard an inspiring message from Professor Matani. I have no doubt that many of you share his values and will have an impact in the crucial areas he illustrated. You are well prepared for these challenges. And on behalf of your fellow alumni, I'd like to say just a few words. Thank you. Thank you for choosing social work as your profession and for the sacrifices you have made in order to complete your degree. My last degree was in family counseling, and I know exactly how hard you have worked. Thank you for the sacrifices you will undoubtedly make in the future when you care deeply about your clients, and perhaps no one else in the world will. Thank you for dedicating your lives to building the foundation of this country, one life at a time. I've no doubt that your work will touch the lives of some of our fellow alumni and strengthen the fabric of our society. And in spite of the great demands that you will find on your time as you leave UIC, I asked the dean if I could give you a final quiz. Open those diploma covers. That's not your degree, is it? So, before those get mailed to you, I have a few questions. Will you stay connected? Will you log on to the alumni network and update your information whenever you move or change jobs? Will you tell us what you're doing? We need your spirit, your energy, your stories, and your involvement to enhance the experience for those students who follow you. Will you do that? What? That's better. If you're asked to host an intern or mentor a student or serve as a preceptor or speak to a class, will you say yes? Will you join the Alumni Association's advocacy network or any other professional society and lobby in support of higher education and social justice? Will you show your pride in your degree in your alma mater and display that diploma when you get it in your home, your office, or another highly visible area? Will you do that? Can you recruit a student just like you to study at Jane Addams? That will help ensure its reputation for academic excellence with a student body that's known for its intelligence, its work ethic, its motivation, and diversity. Will you do that? Here's the hardest one. And when you can, will you forego a Starbucks and make a gift? A gift, no matter the size, does make a difference and will ensure that UIC will be here for your children, too. Will you do that? Let me try that one again. Can you have regular coffee and forego your Starbucks? Okay. Dean Harrison, I think they've passed their final exam. Once again, congratulations. Go forth, class of 2015. Make this world better for all of us.
Anna Nanaselli will deliver the response for the graduating class of 2015. She is the recipient of the MSW degree and is president of the Jane Addams College of Social Work Student Government. Ms. Nanaselli.
Good morning. First, I'd like to recognize and thank the Platform Party for the opportunity to speak today. It has truly been an honor to serve as the president of Jane Addams Student Government, and I'm humbled to provide the student response on behalf of the class of 2015. But before I go any further, there is no doubt that leading student government has been a complete team effort. Over the course of this year, I had the opportunity to work with and learn from a group of 8 incredibly dedicated and enthusiastic officers. I'd like to take this moment to recognize all of their time and energy by inviting each of our graduating officers to stand. Please hold your applause. Becky Herman, Vice President. Valerie Reek, Student Affairs Chair. Brittany Fisher, Committee Liaison. And Sebastino Aviles, MPH MSW Liaison. I also want to take a moment to recognize 4 faculty members who served as key advisors for student government this year. Associate Dean Bonecutter and Drs. Josh Mirsky, Mark Matini, and Patricia O'Brien. Thank you for your guidance, wisdom, and support. So back in July, our officer team identified 2 key goals we wanted to accomplish this year. First, building community here within the College of Social Work, and pursuing what we branded as getting back to our Jane Addams roots. So what does this mean? I know, although we may be biased in this room, Jane Addams is just one of several reputable colleges of social work across the Midwest. Some of us may have selected this program for the opportunity to learn and practice in a large urban setting like Chicago. Some may have selected it for the financial benefits of in-state tuition. And some, I hope, selected it because attending a school that reflects the values of its namesake was important to your study of social work. After all, Jane Addams was a pioneer of American social work. She founded the internationally renowned settlement house known as Hull House, a leading institution in the development of social work as a profession. Hull House was a premier community-based organization, still recognized today for providing meeting spaces for union groups, for undertaking sociological studies of neighborhood conditions, and for providing a home for reformers who work to address issues facing their community: poor working conditions, food insecurity, low wages, all issues many of our clients continue to face today. So Jane Addams, her work, the legacy of our college, has always been about building community, about providing a space for local residents to come together and not only improve their individual circumstances, but the circumstances of their neighbors as well. But it's about more than that, too. Jane Addams was a radical leader. She pushed the boundaries of societal norms, and she understood that in addition to providing direct services, institutional level changes were required. As a result, she and other Hull House reformers pressed local and state government officials to pass social reform legislation that influenced women and child labor laws and welfare benefits, among others. Jane helped build collective power, so community members who were otherwise voiceless had the ability to stand for redemptive social reform. All of that being said, in preparing for what to say today, I solicited some expert advice on commencement speeches. Google, in particular, suggested that I recommend that we keep moving forward because life isn't fair. Shoot. Whereas Siri proposed that I encourage you to make your beds every morning. No surprise, but I don't feel that those nuggets of wisdom do justice to the graduates of this program. As the newest alumni of a college that is rooted in providing leadership to the development and implementation of policies and services on behalf of the economically disadvantaged, the oppressed, racial and ethnic minorities, and at-risk urban populations, instead, I implore that we take Jane's work with us, even in a small way, in our lives and in our careers. How? Just 3 ways. First, let's exercise our right to vote. Whether you plan to work in a private practice as an individual or family therapist, provide trauma-informed care in a medical setting, support students in schools, investigate abuse for child protective services, or advocate for affordable housing. We must remember how macro-level factors, often determined by our elected officials, deeply affect the circumstances of our clients and the communities we serve. As we know, policy decisions have the ability to impact the funding of our programs, of our positions, and our clients' access to services and resources. As social workers, we understand the complexities of the person and environment and how community and macro-level factors intertwine to impact an individual's ability to learn, grow, and thrive. So we know that policies that ultimately decide which neighborhood schools stay open have tangible impacts on those we serve. These are real issues that have real consequences. So regardless of your area of practice, let's stay informed, let's research the candidates, let's attend town hall meetings, and if you have the freedom of being able to cast your vote, let's get to the polls, because our clients and our careers rely on legislation that reflects the values of our profession. Number 2, let's be mindful with our words. On the first day of class this fall, one of my professors in the mental health concentration, Dr. Amy Watson, said something I will never forget. Language shapes attitudes. The words we use to describe our clients and their situations, even in our closed-door classrooms, in our offices, or around our dinner tables, those words carry power and help frame how our colleagues, our friends, and our family members view others, and ultimately how the clients we're speaking about view themselves. Certainly, not one of us is perfect, and we all make mistakes. But I challenge all of us in this room to create cultures in your professional and personal environments where it's okay to say to one another, you know, I think we could say that in a different way. Or, I think this client may prefer this instead. In an unjust system with so many pieces that seem far outside of our control, the words we use is just one way we can be sure we're approaching our work in a manner that reclaims humanity and restores integrity. Employing person-first language helps us remind ourselves and communicate to others that an individual is not defined by her housing status, by her disability, her gender identity, or her income. Let's be mindful with our words. And lastly, let's be accountable. Throughout this program, as you know, we have participated in some tough class discussions. Discussions about identity, about economic disparities, about the isms, racism, classism, ableism, cisgenderism, and discussions about privilege. Privilege, whether it be white privilege, male privilege, heterosexual privilege, or educational privilege, is the notion of a favored state, of existing within systems of oppression that are structurally designed to benefit certain groups. And whether we are able to recognize it or not, most of us and our clients have parts of our identity and of our circumstances that are privileged, and parts of our identity and our circumstances that are disadvantaged. You may have come to Jane Addams already aware of these aspects of yourself, or maybe this was a staggering realization. In our classes, perhaps you also experienced how a conversation about privilege can make an otherwise tight group of classmates suddenly sit on edge. And that's because a conversation about privilege, looking at this notion of deeply rooted inequality square in the eye, makes us newly accountable. For myself, as a white, middle upper class female, these difficult discussions helped me further my own understanding of how I show up in the world and the ways that I have benefited at another's expense. So the question begs, what will we do to lessen or end it? We can talk about improving communities, about dismantling systems of oppression, but first we need to look at ourselves. Starting with a personal inventory is critical. Where in this system have we benefited, and at whose expense? And how do these power dynamics exist in our interactions with clients? Additionally, we must actively participate in the struggle. This is about more than just interrupting microaggressions and discriminatory actions, although that is also vital. For me, I know that I need to show up for economic and racial justice. There are vibrant coalitions in Chicago that are fighting for a living wage and ending mass incarceration, among many other critical issues. If we are serious about dismantling systems of oppression, we need to be active in these efforts and appropriately engage as allies in solidarity. We must be accountable in our personal lives, in our organizations, and in our communities. Given all of this, it seems clear that completing an advanced degree in social work is no small feat. On top of the readings, the late-night paper writing, the often emotionally draining days at our placement sites, immersing ourselves in a social work program involves a lot of self-reflection. Undoubtedly, our individual support systems have played a significant role in helping us navigate the last couple of years. So graduates, be sure to take a moment today to recognize those special people. We could not have done it without them. That being said, I'd be amiss not to take this moment to recognize the support of my personal support system, my friends, my family, including my in-laws who traveled to be here today from the East Coast. And I certainly wouldn't be standing up here without the support of my wife. Christine, thank you for challenging me every day to be better, to be more accountable, and to continue to evaluate how I show up in the world. Graduates, congratulations, and don't forget, our communities need you out in the field now just as much as we did during Jane Addams' era. This day commences our call to action. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much for that call to action on both an individual and collective level and on both a personal and professional level. So congratulations to all of our graduates once again. Can we have one more round of applause? At the conclusion of the program, I invite graduates, their families and friends, and our alumni to join us for a reception in the large tent that is at the east of this building. I also ask if the audience will please remain seated until faculty and the graduates have marched out. Banner carriers, please retrieve your banners. This marks the conclusion of the 2015 commencement of the Jane Addams College of Social Work, University of Illinois at Chicago.